What is happening right now? Be not mistaken. Pay attention to this. Bookmark this. Send it to others. Listen carefully. What is happening right now is so important because of the multiplicity of issues regarding Las Vegas, but also New Orleans, because, and I'm going to say this, and don't take this the wrong way, but there's really nothing that interesting about the case. There's really nothing that interesting historically about two cases of people who did terrible things, who ran people over, irrespective of the motivation, whether it's because of ISIS or they had a bad day or they were fired or whatever. It has happened. It has happened. In fact, as far as running people over, look at the superintendent, or the chief of police rather, of New Orleans. She did it herself. So this is nothing in and of itself new. And I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but that doesn't interest me in the least. What interests me right now is that this is a wake-up call against and regarding DEI. It is bigger than anything. It is a gift from the gods. And what's happening is that we are in charge. But you would never guess that we're in charge because we're so timorous and tremulous and scaredy cat about talking about what it is. There is no way to discuss, there is no way to bring up or to in any way explain DEI without talking about race, naked tokenism, quotas, affirmative action lunacy, name it. Now, we're in charge now. Theoretically, we're in charge. Our side won. Theoretically. But you would never know it. You would never know it the way nobody's talking about this. This is the chance. Everything else you can do, and we'll get to some issues too about how the media, Elon Musk has done more to determine what's going on regarding the Tesla truck than anything else. Independent media, independent, just regular, not heritage stuff, not that legacy nonsense, but people like everybody from Breitbart to Independent to just folks on X to Daily Mail have done more to find out who these people are, why they happen to be from Fort Bragg, why all of them, including the potential assassin of President Trump, all were a part of some psyops. Maybe. I know there is a tendency for people to love the psyop story, MK Ultra, that sort of stuff. It may be interesting to you, but that is a dead end. No. The issue is DEI and what I believe to be the next stage of a Soros-esque destruction, a complete and total destruction of our system. He started with prosecutors, then he went into, eventually we had this brand new, the first trans congressperson in Congress, where Mace is going after her with the restrooms. Then we're going to have DEI. These three are unbelievable. I just put out a brand new newsletter, email. It goes through it. I've done 2 today on this subject, and I'm going to do it again because I'm telling you, this is the subject. This is the subject. This goes to the core. There's going to be DEI long after, and there's going to be this naked tokenism long after this goes away. There's not going to be terrorism. There's not going to be ISIS, which we created. That's artificial. That's man-made. We made that stuff. DEI is here to stay unless we fix it. So before we get going, my friend, you listen to this one bit of information. And I mean, I'm serious. Here's a problem that nobody's talking about, but it's happening now at levels you can't even imagine. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even help negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. One of the aspects of our culture that has always bothered me the most, maybe just intuitively, maybe just in terms of the workings of it, is the notion of affirmative action and quotas. And the Bakke decision came out in 1978. This is when I was just in the college, and I really wasn't, I was sort of aware, but not really. But when it was presented to me, the notion of this affirmative action, it absolutely confounded me to know, and I couldn't believe, by the way, Carolina guy, welcome, dear friend. I couldn't believe how they would allow somebody's race. This is how incredibly naive I was, but how they would allow somebody's race to be used in a medical school. Race? I thought, okay, if all is even, yeah, sure. And they said then, and of course the case has been whittled down and diluted to basically nothing. But basically they said then it's okay as long as you don't have quotas. That was the story. As long as you don't have quotas. Quotas were verboten. Quotas are no good. Quotas, oh, no. Now listen to me and listen carefully. And again, I cannot tell you enough. I put a link up here. If you are not subscribing, I don't even know what to tell you. I did 2 today. The first was called DEI meets AARP, the most embarrassing press conference in recent history. And by the way, this woman, this Marjorie Main, Ma Kettle, Irene Ryan. By the way, Irene Ryan was like 40 years old. Anyway, Granny Clampett. She's a year younger than me. And I thought to myself, well, I don't think I am feeling that old. But she comes across as befuddled. Some people can handle their age or their youth very well. Compare Vivek Ramaswamy's valedictory address with Luigi's. Night and day. Vivek Ramaswamy at 17 sounds exactly like he does now. The age didn't matter. But this is a wake-up call, dear friends. This is a wake-up call. DEI, dementia, egregiousness, and insanity has got to go. Now, the events, I'm going to say this again. You've got this holy troika, LaToya Cantrell, Alethea. Is that her name? Is it Alethea? I thought it was Alethea. Did I put Alethea? I meant to say Alethea. I think remember Alethea Joyner, Alethea. Oh, this is Alethea. Now I'm confused. It's Alethea. Alethea. Okay. Alethea Weapon is what she is. Okay. That will annoy me into the night to get a name wrong. It will annoy me into the night. I got it right. Alethea. Okay. I got it right. Anyway. Where is it? Where am I? Hang on here. I want to read this. I want to read this to you because I just did this new one, which is important because there's new stuff that's on there. Okay. I'm doing Alethea. Again, I have no idea why I'm doing this Alethea. I have no idea. In any event, let's go through it. They epitomize failures of DEI policies. When competence, and this is the most important, is sidelined for failures in DEI. I thought America was about leadership. I thought it was about meritocracy. I thought it was about being the best at what you did. Stupid me. This serves as a cautionary tale of how prioritizing identitarian identity politics over meritocracy can erode what is left of the public trust. Does that make any sense to you? Are you following that? Can you dig that? That's the story. It gets even better. It gets even monumentally better. First of all, we have Alethea Duncan, the nasally bejeweled sad sack ASAC. I came up with that myself. I like that one. The nasally bejeweled. She made a dangerously premature statement denying that the attack was terrorism. Now, I got news for you. I don't think this is terrorism. I don't think it's terrorism. Sorry. I don't think it's terrorism. I don't think it's October 7th terrorism. I don't think it's anything near that. None. I don't think it is. I don't think planting a Tesla and loading it with whatever, I don't think that's terrorism. It's a lot of things, but terrorism is a little different. This is when you want to go in and you want to use this systemic sense of fright and terror on the part of the people, not like, oh my God, this is terrible. Was the New Jersey, the Las Vegas, remember that guy that we know nothing about? Was he terror? He freaked some people out. Was that terror? No. Absolutely not. So we're using that word too often. And also, you know the story about ISIS. You know the story about Hamas. You know where all this stuff comes from. Al-Qaeda. You remember where Al-Qaeda came from? The whole notion of the base. You know this. And to call it terrorism or whatever, okay, fine. If that makes you happy, go ahead. That's like people use the word, it's nationalism. No, it's not. It's white nationalism. No, it's not. But this blunder, the point is it wasn't coordinated. It led to public outrage. People are freaked out. Critics are now arguing that the FBI has lowered the standards under DEI mandates. And they're prioritizing racial, gender, and sexual diversity over recruiting qualified candidates. And that has nothing to do with being a good FBI agent. I'm sorry. Reports of recruits failing basic fitness and literacy standards further highlight this issue. Look at this. The best is look at the NYPD, well, what used to be left of the brass. The FBI, a Quinn Martin production, the FBI. Their insistence on holding DEI exclusive recruitment events, excluding certain demographics. It does nothing but underscore how misplaced priorities have jeopardized its effectiveness. Let me tell you a story. I told you this, I'm going to tell you again. When I was a kid, my mother gave me I had a typewriter. We had this old Royal, and I just started to type. I still typed the way I just came up with it. I just started doing it. And I came up with my way of typing. And I liked it. I used to type lists. I would type things. I just loved typing. I loved the order of it. I loved the columns. I loved the spacing. I loved the mechanical idea of taking a thought and putting it on this kind of a crude kind of thing, with those long typewriters. And by the way, the reason why we have QWERTY and we have the letters spread out is that you would have to slow down, so the story goes, so that you wouldn't cross, by typing too fast. Well, it turns out we just learned that. Anyway, so when I got this thing, my mother gave me stationery one year for Christmas. Very nice. I remember this little box. My name, it was embossed. I said, this is pretty good. I was a kid. I don't know, 8, 9, 10. I have no idea how old I was, but I was a kid. So I said to her, where should I want to write a letter, because inside my Brown Webster's dictionary, they had this thing on how to send a business letter, personal letter, the style is at the top. I love that stuff. Precision through language. I loved it. So I asked her, I said, whom should I write to? I want to write a letter. My mother said, J. Edgar Hoover. She just pulled it out of the air. I have no idea why. I said, who's J. Edgar Hoover? She says, well, he's like a policeman, but he's in Washington. He's with the FBI. I said, oh, FBI, I've heard of them. Okay. I did a little read, went to the World Book. I said, oh, FBI, that's interesting. Dear Mr. Hoover, my name is and this and that, and I'm 10 years old or whatever it is, and I'm a big fan of yours. And I signed my name. And okay. I forgot to tell you this story. A while back, for reasons I do not understand, I think I've told you the story, I sent away to this place called the Jamestown Stamp Company because I had Boys Life or something, and you could get free, I thought they were free, canceled stamps. And I got the thing of I opened it up, it was canceled stamps from all over the world. It was a stamp, cancel, you cut the stamps off, and oh my God. I threw them away. I wasn't paying. I know, I thought it was interesting. Until I found out maybe I should have had to pay for some. Maybe part were free, and later on you had to pay me. So my father gets this letter, and I said, what is this? They're going to sue me. So my father's a lawyer too, and he sends back a letter. He says, my son is 8 or 9, 10, whatever years old, does not have the capacity to enter into a contract, drop dead and rotate. If you call him again, I'm going to contact the authorities, leave me alone. This is harassment, blah, blah, blah. So he tells me, he says, I want you to promise me, I don't ever want you writing to any more stamps. You want stamps? I'll give you stamps. No more. You understand? Yes. Do I make myself clear? He never hit me. He just would he would make me feel so stupid sometimes. Should I write this down? Should I maybe translate it? Do you understand this? Yes. You promise. I swear to God, I'm not going to write anybody more about that. Okay, fine. I forgot about the J. Edgar Hoover letter. Saturday, we had this mailbox with this metal lid, and when it dropped, you could hear it, I swear to God, no matter where you were. Mail's in, woo, woo. Remember the Addams Family? My father's standing there going like this, like this, like this, and there it is, to me. Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Office of the Director. To me, it was an IBM Selectric style. I forget the style, Courier or whatever it was, but it was a style. He says, give me that. Are you doing any more stamps? I said, no, I swear to God, give me that. He opens it up. He says, oh my God. It's from J. Edgar Hoover to you. Are you writing him? Yes. Give me that. It's mine. Dear Mrs. Hoover, thank you so much for your kind note. It is so appreciated. I appreciate it. I've enclosed he was very nice. He says, if you ever would like to consider joining the FBI, I've enclosed an application for you to think it over. And he sent me books, but thank you very much. He sent me an autographed picture. But he was the nicest man. One time I wrote him, he was out of the country, maybe with Clyde Tolson. His secretary said, Mr. Hoover wanted me to contact you. Thank you very much for the kind words. And I didn't know. And I would respond always back, well, thank you for the thank you. I didn't know you're not supposed to do that. I sent him Christmas cards, and he sent me stuff and books. And thank you. We were going to go to Washington, and I was going to meet him. Anyway, so this was the FBI. FBI was image. There were stories that Hoover, I don't know if this is right, fired some guy who had pimples or somebody who had a red tie. He says, that's not the FBI. Might have been racist. Might have had white folks. I don't know. It was a different time then. But now today, covered in tattoos and goatees. And no. Well, then there's Alethea Duncan. The nasally bejeweled Alethea Duncan. Whatever, which is in direct violation, for what I understand, of the rules which prohibit any kind of piercings other than ears, for earrings, for women. You got that? Okay. So you got her. All right. Then we got LaToya Cantrell. You can't run. Remember Lana Cantrell? Who was she married to? Lana Cantrell? You wouldn't know this. This is in the 60s. Lana. Remember that name, Lana Cantrell? Oh, Lana Cantrell. Yeah, she was married. Yeah, she's 81 years old. Lana Cantrell. I think she was married to. She went to Marymount Manhattan College and Fordham University. I didn't know that. And she was married to, I thought she was married to some guy. Lana Cantrell. What was her big hit? Tony Bennett. Just forgive me. I'm just going down memory lane. Anyway. So there's this one. Sorry, I kind of veered off there for a moment, thinking back to my childhood and Lana Cantrell. Well, LaToya Cantrell, she's the mayor of, she's a black woman. Now, she's elected. Now, remember, election is a different story. I don't think that's DEI. That's called an election. But anyway, but she likes DEI. She likes it. Her tenure has been marred by numerous scandals, including allegations of bribery and misuse of taxpayer funds. Her administration failed to maintain critical public safety infrastructure, such as the steel bollards, it's a new word of the day, on Bourbon Street, which were removed for repairs at the time of the attack. Remember, there was the collapse of the Sky Bridge and all that. Her defense of lavish travel expenses as necessary for her safety as a black woman has been seen as, of course, deflecting criticism. Who does that sound like? Tiffany Henyard. I have to go first class. I need the security. I need my entourage. Then there's Ann Kirkpatrick. This is the best. This is Marjorie Main. This is Ma Kettle. This is Granny. This is this is the one. She was appointed as New Orleans police chief, and it illustrates dysfunction. She was fired from her position as the Oakland police chief due to loss of public trust. I think she ran over somebody here. And she has seemingly continued to fall upward. Her involvement, listen to this, as an instructor on bias and diversity in FBI leadership programs indicates how deeply rooted the DEI business is. The absence of bollards, again, under her watch, it gets even better. On Thursday, today, she had a press conference held hours before the Super Bowl kickoff and did, to put it mildly, did little to reassure the public that she knew what the hell she was doing, and instead highlighted the excruciatingly alarming incompetence of the city's leadership in handling the aftermath of what everybody and their mother right now is calling a terrorist attack. Laurie Cook says, bless you, Uncle Lenny. Thank you, Laurie. Pilgrim says you should write a book about your life. Nobody would want to read it. But thank you for that. By the way, good news. Mrs. L made the plant-based lasagna again tonight. I'm on a lasagna high right now. All right? I'm just telling you right now. So if I'm acting goofy, it's for a good reason. So in an attempt to describe to the country the various security efforts, Annie, get your gun, Annie Kirkpatrick, bizarrely, and I'm being mild, admitted she was unaware of the existence of the sidewalk barriers referred to as archers that had been installed to prevent terror attacks. Quote, what you see behind us is what we call hardening the target. We have brought in heavy trucks. You will see when you go down Bourbon, you will see yellow, what we call archers, and they are all along the sidewalk. She explained, I didn't know about them, but we have them, and so we have been able now to put them out. Let me say this again in case you missed it. I did not know about them. Oh, you should see in New York City, there are trucks that you'll see every now and then. It's like, what the hell is that? There were these siege trucks. We have the ERT, the ETR, the CTPRTR, emergency super, you name it. And everybody knows everything that's available. When they have to, they put the dump trucks and this and that, but they have special. She didn't know that. The acknowledgement from this numbnut that she was unaware of a fundamental, absolute component of the city's security infrastructure was, to say that as baffling as it was, unsettling. These barriers, which could have mitigated, stopped, prevented, thwarted the damage caused during the recent attack, were previously removed for repairs. A failure that already cast doubt on the city's competence. Okay, so Kirkpatrick, Annie, her assurances to the public that Bourbon Street is open and that the community should feel confidently or safe, rang, as we say, hollow when she gives this disjointed response. This is incredible. This is her inability to provide coherent answers. Now, her performance in the wake of the terror example, and I'll call it terror, but it's really not, but that's okay, exemplifies the broader features of this absent leadership under DEI-focused kind of stuff. Her apparent lack of knowledge about critical safety, matters, kind of like the rudiments of this, coupled with her role as the DEI advocate, raises questions about whether the qualifications of her, and by the way, there are others. And for a city that's still reeling from this devastating attack, this level of ineptitude is unacceptable. And this is why we need to talk about it. This shows the systemic flaw whenever DEI policies emphasize representation and demographics and quotas and check marks over competence. This is the not only ineffective, but the harmful outcomes. This is serious business. This is the chance for us to use this, to use our power and to say, no more of this. We're not going to do this anymore. Lori says, is this a joke? No. And we're doing a safety drill also? What? Lori, we won. We won. Do you understand this? We won. And here we are in the position. Here we are in the position of pretending not to really own this. We're still afraid. We're still afraid of calling it the way it is. We're so afraid. Let me tell you what's going to happen too. I made some notes for you. Number one, what would I do? See, you don't want me as the bad guy. You don't want me as the bad guy. You just don't. You don't want me as the bad guy. But one thing I would do is I would say, George Soros taught us, and this is important. Remember, Elon Musk is good, but he utilizes his expertise in terms of benefiting humanity, if that makes any sense. His focus is on good stuff. He wants to put a ship in the back and the Mars and this, but Soros wants to destroy us. Pilgrim Media says, we won the battle, the war rages respectfully. Yes, we're there, and we have to own this. First and foremost, what he does, Pilgrim, and thank you, what he does is he's got to understand, he makes it very, very clear, that while Elon is doing this great stuff, Soros wants to do, Soros and Bill Gates and WEF and Klaus Schwab, they want to destroy. They want to enslave the world, to subjugate us through tyranny, self-imposed and otherwise. They want to destroy us. Do you hear what I am saying to you? Elon doesn't want to do this. Elon sent people right away. He says, I know exactly. And by the way, because of the construction of this truck, this is probably one of the best adverts ever. It was so well constructed, it blew up this way, not this way. Had it exploded from the sides, which other cheaper constructed vehicles might have done, it would have been a different story. And he knew right away. Remember, Elon said, fireworks. How'd you know that? Fireworks. Who would think fire? He was right. Plus, they're saying the guy offed himself before the device was detonated. And we're seeing all of this intricate, labyrinthine connections. Do you see what's happening? All of these connections. They knew each other at Fort Bragg, or maybe they didn't. And then they did this, and maybe they didn't. And then they, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But it's like, we're hearing all this stuff and all this great and fascinating stuff about what's going on. But ultimately, what will happen is nothing. Nothing. Nothing will happen. Nothing. Was there anything? Could be. Can we prove it? Probably not. Probably not. Is there any way for us to? No. Probably not. No way for it to? No. No. Do you think this was a psyop? I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what you want to call it. But first things first. You've got to sit there and you've got to say, and if nobody would dare say this, but if somebody were to stand up and say, when I see the assistant special agent in charge, the assistant special agent in charge of New Orleans, and it's a black woman with a nose, not a nose ring, a nose stud or some type of jewelry, who looks like 20 years old, I say DEI. And how? Because she's been promoting DEI. And you normally promote what brought you into the show in the first place. How about that? Here's another one for you. As we say in West Tampa, que cojones. You ready for this? I love this one. They were, the DEI types at the FBI were protesting. Listen to this. Protesting Kash Patel, who is an Indian, and there's a particular sect or whatever, but they were protesting a brown man who elevates himself to the head of the FBI. Alethea, why can't I remember her name? Alethea Duncan was protesting him. There was countless black folks in government. Look around you. Indian? They protested. Why? Because cash didn't work. Next. You know what the next thing is going to be? The fog. Have you heard about the fog? Have you heard about the fog? The fog. They started mentioning this in the UK. Did you hear about the fog? The mysterious fog? Nelson A says, just passing by Mr. L to say, hola, baby. It's cold outside. Coño. You're right about that. Or as we say in West Tampa, ño. Colder than a well digger's ass. 37 degrees here, but a real nice cold. We got that, whatever that thing's called, that forward blizzard, whatever the hell it's called. All right. Now, what's happening next? Little things. Remember, you heard it here first. Drones. What was that? Drones. You know how easy it is to arm a drone? You know how easy it is to arm it? Not with machine guns, something like that, but something that can drop and then, like an ordnance, a particular device. Forget these things. Forget trucks. Forget people going through bollards and EV super cyber trucks. No. Drones. Think about it. Drones. How are you going to stop a drone at the Super Bowl, at the Sugar Bowl, at the Ice Bowl, at the Toilet Bowl? How are you going to do it? You can't. Complete and total terror. And we just had a dry run, a beta test recently on what happens when you just have battalions and sorties and brigades and armadas of drones. Oh, it's happening. Freak you out. People will be going like this, not worrying about outer space, but just whatever it is. All to set up the level of disaster prior to President Trump taking over 18 days from now. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, my friend. And nobody will know what to do. Nobody. DOJ is going to say, don't look at us. Who's in charge of the DOD? It's Defense Department. Don't look at us. This is the interregnum. This is I don't know. I'm too busy giving Liz Cheney an award for January 6th. You know it's going to happen. It would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. And also, next, people say, well, you love the word distraction. I know you. Guess what we're not talking about anymore? Borders. Borders. And you think, wait a minute, what does this mean? Borders. Let me explain something to you. Remember what Uncle Lenny tells you. This has been one of my postulates since I first started into this. This is one of the rules you got to understand, my friends, when Democrats versus Republicans are in charge. We always need a boogeyman. A boogeyman is important. There was a time in Hollywood when the boogeymen were Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, that kind of stuff. We loved the bad guys. But now the bad guys are the good guys, sort of. We have Marvel people. I don't really know. We've kind of lost the notion of who the bad guys are, who the good guys are. We don't know. Dirty Harry was great. the days of the white hats, but we always need the dirty. I would rather be the heel than the baby face. The heel is the best. The great heels. And then we have these ones where we don't know. Hannibal Lecter, Dexter. These are serial killer types who actually help us out. They help us out. Are they good? Are they bad? I don't know. The Joker, that awful Joaquin Phoenix piece of crap. No. Dexter was one of my favorites. Do we like him? Is he a good guy? I guess he's a good. I don't know. We need your help. What do you mean? We got to find this guy. Okay. So we always these strange things. But in terms of politics, this was always great. World War I was kind of the beginning where we had the Huns. They called the Germans the Huns. They were like the Krauts. And they went, "Argh." And they kind of looked like us. It was like the Germans, the Japanese weren't there. And it wasn't really racial, but it was like more like in fact, years ago during World War II, they said it was during the great Frank Capra days. Whenever you saw these pilots tooling about, remember the Japanese, remember how they would have these open goes, okay, Yankee Doodle Dandy, da, 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 da. And their planes were always like, the American plane was like, and the Japanese plane, this is an old routine. I've heard this. I don't know who did it. It's not mine, but I've heard it when I was a kid. The differences between, they always would talk to each other. How they had intercoms between just, listen, Mr. Moto, this is for the American way. Okay, Yankee Doodle. You already did the Yankee Doodle. I don't know anymore. You, all of a sudden, look behind you, Tojo. Whoa! And the boom, and they were always have buck teeth in the teeth. Just this. Was it racist? I don't know if it was racist. It was just, but the stuff we call it. Germans kind of look like us. You know what I mean? But the American had this scarf. And you're like, Dana, whatever his name is, Dana, I'm talking about Edwards or Dana. And then these nice looking American pilots. And then, of course, the handful of the same, a lot of them were Chinese or anyway. But after that, we really had anarchists. Remember Sacco and Vanzetti, Emma Goldman. Then commies. Commies were beautiful. It was wonderful because they looked like us. They could infiltrate us. They were the great ones. Just bought 2 ham radios for the apocalypse. Those are very nice. There's a very nice one, by the way, and I saw this in, I put a copy of it on my X channel. It looks pretty good. About $200. It's might be fun just to listen to. I used to have a radio years ago, a transmitter that somebody gave me where I could pick up cell phones. It was so illegal, but I could aim it and I could hear conversations. It was when cell technology was kind of sort of, it was wonderful. I thoroughly, it was like the best. It wasn't anything dirty. It was just hearing people talk. Anyway. Who are the bad guys today? Well, here's Uncle Lenny's rule. Number 1, when the Democrats are in charge, the bad guys are always homegrown. You see, the Democrats are technically in charge. Who's the bad guy? They're from here. He's from Texas. May have a funny name. His parents may have whatever, but he's here. Was in the Army. Both of them in the Army, homegrown. Usually the white nationalist, the racist, the constitutional guy, the ones we got to watch out, the ones who were here, the military, the police, that kind of stuff. Now, when the Republicans are in charge, the bad guys are always foreign. ISIS. People are saying, is this ISIS? That's not ISIS. He's from Texas. Yeah, but his name, that's not ISIS. Remember the day, I'll never forget, I came home and lo and behold on the TV, there was Oklahoma City. I said, why those bastards? And there was old Bill Clinton goes, we're going to find wherever you're from. Wherever you're from, we're going to get to the bottom. Okay. Well, they were from here. Terry, whatever his name is, and McVeigh, remember his cohort, and then the other guy, the third guy, they were here. Homegrown. Military. The military's the bad guy. The military, this is the Democrats, where the bad guys are secreted. See, we're not talking about your border anymore, President Trump. We're talking about homegrown terror. These are the guys. The guy with a Tesla, special ops. You don't know who they are. The people who hide behind the flag, not the poor worker, tren de Aragua. Nah, that's the real bad guys are here. Okay. Remember that. Remember how that works. This is a big, big deal. Now, what the president has to do is to seize the opportunity. You can say what you want about Elon Musk. By the way, where's Vivek Ramaswamy? Who? Vivek. Who's that? Ramaswamy. I don't know who that is. Where is he? I don't know. He ain't here. I think they said, listen, pal, this town ain't big enough for both of us. Thanks a lot for all your help, but I'll be taking over here now. Okay, Vivek? I'm Elon. I'm taking over. Capiche? Got that? I'll let you pretend to be part of Doge, but that's me. The president needs to attack immediately. Not his Tulsi Gabbard types, but the president has to move in immediately. And listen good. You can talk about ISIS. Nobody gives a shit about ISIS. Nobody understands what ISIS is. They don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. There's 2.5 million Muslims in this country. They don't bother us. Do you bother you? No. I can take you to parts of Jersey City. I can take on the way to the wherever this on the way to JFK or LaGuardia. When you go across on the Long Island or the LIE, whatever it is, you're on your way. You see these temples and mosques and great food. So don't give me this nonsense about these people. We don't care about them. They're fine. And there's 2 billion, 2 billion Muslims in the world. And if just 10% were a part of this crazy, evil jihadist, that's 200 million. Almost as much. You would see disaster every day. Does JD still exist, Mr. L? Don't know. We'll see. JD's kind of sitting back. We're gonna learn a lot. But remember, they're laying this line on you. They want us to think, that not Muslim, no, internal. The Democrats want you to distrust your neighbor. Republicans want you to look elsewhere. We got to keep our borders from people coming in. Democrats say they're already here. They're the people who were supposedly there to protect you. Now, let me go back to this one thing. If you want to see something, if I could show you the entire Eric Adams administration, just look at this. And the main cop is a person. And remember, I'm not going to explain that I do not speak on behalf of Black America. If you don't know that, look, we're in charge. We don't have to say that anymore. It's ridiculous. You know and I know it. But this guy is an oaf. He's a big, fat pig slob who thinks he can be a predator against women. And he said, I'm a swinger. His lawyer actually send him on a interview, what would I do? I'd have him go to some kind of rehab or something. I'd say he's got a drug problem, a sex problem, or something. I'd say get the hell out of here. Same thing with Hunter. I would have him on some mountain somewhere, drying out. You wouldn't see him anymore. You wouldn't see him. Where's Hunter? He's sick. Let the man go. Okay. Not him. No. So this stupid, immediately they get rid of him. And by the way, there's Jessica Tish. Oh my God. I thought, when I first saw her, I thought, this woman she looks like she's part of the Deliverance set. She's fantastic. She did more in one day. She cleared this place out. But if you saw, and if you listen to her, man, you go, who's that? That's the mayor of New York. Come on. No, that's the mayor of New York. Come on, stop it. Who is this? It's this monosyllabic gibberish that you wouldn't go to him. You wouldn't take your dog to a vet who sounded like this. You would say, this is serious. But because of this DEI world we live in, we have to say, oh, no. No, that's not important. The fact that he can't craft a sentence together that you can understand, no, that's not important. He's black. And that's it. Here's the check mark. Black. Is he gay? Trans? Is he competent? Who cares whether he's competent, he's black, he's gay? That's what DEI is. And it's over. It's done. It's finished. It's through. It's over. Do you understand Alethea? I told you, I love names like this. Alethea, Shalandra, Melisha, Kamisha, Shalandra, Lavandra, Lashawn, Lajan, Shalon, Solong, whatever. Just make, and there was a time, just like our names. Remember the old days? It was like Peg. Remember your grandmother Margaret, Peggy. Phyllis. And then the 80s came along and the names like Tiffany and whatever. Well, in the Black American world, there were names we were kids, Willie and, this and that, and Leroy. But Leroy was, there was not anymore, gone. Later on, others, whatever. And then it got into the neologism. And neologism is a new word. Johnny Mazza says, on October the 31st, 2017, a man ran over people with a U-Haul truck near the West Side Highway. Many perished. That wasn't called a terror attack. I think it was. He was, if I recall correctly, I thought it was. He was of Middle Eastern origin or something. I don't know. But whether it is or it isn't, it was one guy who, that's not a terror. But as names changed, and you can see the names right now. I remember, you just see this. But Alethea, Shamika, Shalandra, I always suggested that if we could have a 3 or 4 circle, kind of like a roulette wheel, bring it in the hospital. What's your name? 3 syllables or 2? 3, okay. Me. Kamisha. Next. Go to the next room. Just make them up. They don't, there's no name, there's no origin, there's no whatever it is. I love these names. Ask anybody, maybe not now, but when I was a prosecutor, this was 40 years ago. One of the most popular names you can ask anybody, police, first responders, ambulance, one of the most popular name is Famali. Famali Johnson, Famali Jones. I knew more Famalis. And when I was doing family law, juvenile family. People come, I mean, the names were phenomenal, but Famali. And I looked at it and I didn't see it. And it was female. And it was the name the hospital gave the baby. And there was this one guy one time. His name was, I can't give you his name, but he was this old guy. He smoked cigarettes. He was an old-time cop. He was an investigator. He never joked about anything. I said, you know what? You know, Dave, and you could smoke in these little rooms. I mean, there was nobody dared telling Dave you can't smoke. He said, you know, Dave, I said, there's one, I'm surprised nobody's ever been named Vagina. I'll never forget it. It's like this. It's like he's smoking a joint, but it was a terror or whatever. He goes, I said, Vagina. And you know those little foil ashtrays, they weren't even like, they're real thin. As he's blowing, he goes, Governor Street, Kano Court. They call her Baby. I said, are you kidding me? He said, yeah. There's a kid named Vagina? He said, yeah. He never joked. Call her Baby. You want to go? No, I don't want to go talk to her. I think placenta, they might have had a placenta, but a vagina. Okay, so I think I told you this. So we had, in our juvenile, we had it was like traffic juvenile, but we had this cork board with this one, I don't know, it was affidavit or something with a pin in it. It was the best name ever. It was like the Hall of Fame. There was only one thing on it. It was just this name. It was the best one ever. The best name you ever heard. Azole. ASSHOL. Asshole. Pilgrim says, when I ran rap sheets, unbelievable names. Oh, and the nicknames. So anyway, make a long story short, there was this name, Azole, was up there for asshole. I mean, I thought, come on. I mean, there was, and we had, like, we'd vote. Like one time, the king, Nosmo King. I thought Nosmo was kind of like Cosmos, Nosmo. Well, Nosmo was, the mother said she saw the sign that said no smoking. And it was on the door opened up and it was like no smoking. They were the King family and she thought it was Providence or something. Anyway, that was interesting. Sinatra Jones was one of my favorites. King Arthur, Queen Elizabeth. There's a group of people years ago, and there were Bernard, Leonard, and Renard. And the judge approached, he said, can I approach the bench? So we got up there and he told the court reporter, go away. He said, what are these names? I said, Bernard. He goes, no. Bernard, not Bernard. Bernard. Oh, okay. Leonard. And Renard. I guess they ran out. So as we were about to walk back, I said, by the way, you know what the fourth one's name is? Who? I said, Retard. And he burst out laughing. I mean, it was one of the funny, and there's something about when the prosecutor and the defense lawyer and the judge are laughing. There's something, everybody gets nervous. Whose ox is gonna go? I loved it. Well, anyway, I told you this story. Azole was up there for I don't know how long. The paper was yellowed, and it was somebody from the division came in and said, drum roll, please. And he had to like pull up a chair because the thing was very high, and he pulls out the thing and he puts it up there. Read it and weep, gentlemen. Read it and weep. We have a winner. Shifid. I've told you this. Spelled shithead. I swear on my eyes. We couldn't believe it. I never saw this before. And he said, and guess what? He's on the docket. Well, the babe is the kid's name. But he's on the docket tomorrow. So there was this real tough guy, one of these bailiffs, like bus drivers with guns. He goes, all right, page 2, Parker family, Azole, Renard, Shamika, Shalit. He just would bark the names into this microphone. I said, wait till old Ace, whatever, gets the... He says, what are you boys doing here? I said, nothing, Dave. We just want to see your work. You see me every day. What's so special about it? What are you guys up? You got something? He was very smart. You got something going on? Something I should know about? You're going to pull something, aren't you? I said, no, Dave. Go ahead, call the doctor. We're just passing through. All right, I know what you guys are up to. I don't know what it is, but it ain't funny. So I'll cut this out. Dave, would we take a moment? Would we kid around in a courthouse? Come on, Dave. We're professionals. All right. So he turns to the page and he goes, I forget what the name is. Johnson family, asshole. And you hear, present. And he's looking at this. And you can see he's almost like looking, make sure. I've never seen anything like it. Okay, cut to the, I'm sorry, Shaithi. Excuse me, Shaithi. Cut to the court. Years later, WFLA, I told this story. And I spelled the name, of course. And the program director says, can we spell the name? I said, I can spell the name. I'm not saying the name, which is stupid to me. Nobody believed it. Board operator says, take line 4, whatever it was. I said, they're on WFLA. This woman said, thank you very much. My name is Mrs. And she gave her like her name. You could tell she's never called the radio, but she gives her name. Yes, this is Mrs. Alexander. And I'm a data processor at Hugo Widden's Public School in Pinellas Park. We called it Shatid. I said, wait a minute, are you verifying? He goes, oh, yes. I said, and when you first saw this, did you think there was a mistake? Somebody was pulling your leg? She said, well, to be quite honest with you, I was a bit taken aback, but no, we have Shatid. What mother? What person? Who? Alethea, fine. Shamika, LaToya, LaShandra, Kamika, Rashida, I don't care. Shithead? Shithead? He could never be president? Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States, Shithead Johnson. And how do you insult him? This is when I knew society. I couldn't believe what I was saying. But we had to be very careful. Be very careful. I said, excuse me, what am I being careful about? His name is Shithead. What am I worried about? Because we were always told, be careful. Be careful. I've been screamed at, and you have too. I'm a white racist. I'm a white this. What are you talking about? I'm a white nationalist, a white separatist, a white privilege, a white. It's a white privilege, white angry white men, white. Oh, okay. So we can bring up demographic? Oh, no. No, we bring it up, not you. You just take it. Well, you know what? Those days are over. It's done. And this is it. So this terrorism, and by the way, please, how many agree with me? Don't mention the name of these people anymore. If somebody's going to go on and hurt somebody and blow somebody up or do whatever it is, don't bring up their name. Don't give their name. Don't have a picture of them, where they went to school, where they lived. Don't do this anymore. Why are we doing this? Why are we constantly telling people what they look like, what their name was, what their dreams were, read their manifestos? I want them to be anonymous so that some schmuck doesn't come along and say, I want to be the next one. Lori Cuck says, thank you. Well, thank you. Oh, look at this. I love this one. Connie Hansen says, I have a better one that is real. My husband and gynecologist, I guess, had a patient drop in the ER. He was called to check the mother. You'll never believe the name. Come on, Connie. Did you follow up? Come on, Connie. Come on. That's it? Oh, Lamangelo, Arangelo. Yeah, Lamangelo. Yep, I saw that. Lamangelo. Absolutely. Absolutely. We had I heard it name one time, Octolanda. I like that. It was like, oh, it's kind of something like Tiberius, here we go. To show you these names, like Nazmo King comes along, even among folks who are Latin, or because in West Tampa, Cuban, Sicilian, but a lot of Cubans. But we had one. It was Usmail. I said, what he says? Usmail, U.S. male. I swear to God. Navy. I heard U.S. Navy. I don't know about that one. Come on, Connie. You can't just see. Connie is like a sadist. He can't do this. Linda Hasler says, in Jessica Tish, part of the Tish family, a very civic-minded family. Is she? I don't know. I do not know. I don't think Tish is probably, must be. I don't think it's that common. Maybe not. You know what? This was so, this is terrible. She drops this thing. She makes us, come on, Connie Hansen. And then she doesn't come through. She doesn't come through. It's like there's an old joke. How do you keep and then whatever it is, you can pick the ethnicity, or you can say dumbass. But you can say, how do you keep a dumbass in suspense? I don't know how. And you just wait. How? You see how long it is before they catch on. Well, by the way, one of the things too that Connie apparently has done is something which has bothered me for a long time. People who will give a trivia question and then not answer and not know it. Who holds the small record for the home runs and the season? I don't know who. I don't know. See, you can't ask a question if you don't know it. Speaking of doctors, my friend one time when he was doing an OBGYN rotation, this woman came in and she was pregnant. And he said, are you taking the pills I give you? Yes. You're taking one a day? Every day. Are you sure? Every day. Said, that's odd. So they did some kind of an examination and he found 2 or 3, you know it, undissolved in, Anyway, that's the way that goes. Well, Connie, you had your chance, honey. You had your chance to make good on that, but your husband probably said, don't say that, because it might be so unique that somebody's gonna, remember it. Somebody's gonna, years ago, I used to do this thing where I forget. I used to think the name Mendy Rudolph was just a great name. Mendy Rudolph was a great basketball referee. And my friend one time turned me on to it because we were in high school. Somebody dropped something and somebody was on the floor. He goes, what are you, Mendy Rudolph? With a towel, with a thing. And I would say Mendy Rudolph. I just thought it was a great name, and it was never disparaging. It was just, I just said it. One time I was doing stand-up, and I said, these people want to meet you. I said, who is he? He goes, it was like his kids. And he said, we want to thank you for bringing up our grandfather. He was a wonderful man. I said, oh. They said, well, how did you, what made you? I didn't want to say, I just thought it was an interesting name or whatever it was. But it was never disparaging. But I mean, of all the things, so you got to be very careful. You say something like that, somebody, comes up and says, I heard you mention that, that was me. And again, to the Rudolph family, never said anything disparaging. He was a fine, fine man. I saw always say Al Martino. Al Martino, I said, so-and-so is to, you are to accounting what Al Martino is to microsurgery, what Al Martino is to thoracic surgery, what Al Martino, and I would say Al Martino. I just loved, it just sounded funny. And I forget who it was, somebody who says, sure enough, he says, I don't think they were related to Al Martino, but they said, it's a wonderful thing that you said about Al Martino. And so anyway, So it's one of those. Thanks. Okay. Well, Connie, you have a lot of explaining to do. Anyway, thank you so much, my friends. Thank you so much. Linda Hazlitt, thank you. Lori Cuck, Pilgrim Media, Johnny Mazaspaz. Thank you. Nelson. Lori Cuck. Cuck, you got to explain that last name. Is it Kook? Is there an umlaut over the U? Or some diphthong, some schwa? Phil Moore of Fillmore, Illinois. Fillmore. Remember Seymour Butts? Fillmore. All the pagers, all the, you know how it is. You can page people whose last name is Hunt, and you can and I'll just leave it at that. We had this. Anyway, I'm rambling circuitously. My friends, it's been an hour and 11 minutes. I want to thank you. Phil McCracken, thank you so much. Remember the old days when you could go to the airport and page people? Huge erection, Mandy lifeboats. Mandy Rudolph, Mandy lifeboat. Marcus absent. Tyrone shoelaces. All these stupid things. But there were some others. If Jack helped you off a horse, would you help Jack? Anyway, there's all these stupid things that we would say as a kid. And see, that was the best part. Because when you're in school, you learn these great, dirty, filthy, terrible jokes, which I think are terrific. All right, my friends. Rod Gazinia. No, Dick Gazinia. Rod Gazinia. Rob, please. It was Dick Gazinia. Stop it. All right, my friends. Have a great and a glorious day. By the way, please follow Mrs. L. Immediately. Huh? Oh, this is a good one. She's got a good one now. Follow Mrs. L immediately at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Do what I say. Just go. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Also, mine is mothballs. Did you ever smell mothballs, Laurie? Who held the wings? Anyway, thank you. It's an old joke. So, Lynn's Warriors. Also, Lionel Legal. Very, very important. Lionel Legal, Lynn's Warriors. And that's it. And also sign up for the newsletter. One went out tonight. You're missing them. And by the way, if you go, you can read the others. And I have a link at the top of this for you to go to. All right, my friends, you have a great and a glorious day. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. Just remember, in 18 days, we're in charge. President Trump, have a good time. I'm going to say something to you. Don't ever repeat it. But that Mar-a-Lago event looked so boring to me. Ted Cruz. Did you see the drunk girl walking in with Ted Cruz? It's on my I guess somebody was just on, this girl's walking and she's like gassed out of her mind. Lara Trump singing is the funniest thing I've ever, when people do things that, years ago, we had like somebody in the family, like Aunt Connie or somebody. Connie sing. Oh, no, stop. Please, Connie. No. Oh, here's one for you. Mrs. L will tell you this story. We used to love when the Friars Club is dead now. It's shuttered and shackled and closed. It's done. It's going to be sold. It's finished. But one time in this one room, there was this guy who was this woman. She was an old dancer, from the Copa or the Spanish. What's that called? The Copacabana. But also, what was the one where Barbara Walters' father ran it? You know what I'm talking about. Spanish, Latin Quarter. Latin Quarter. Anyway, so she was an old showgirl. You know what that means, right? Okay. But she looked, well, but you could tell during her heyday, she was a number. You know what I mean? She just kind of had that look. So one day we're sitting there in this little room And her husband, I think, was playing the drums or something. And they said, hey, why don't you sing a song? Oh, come on, no. Stop it. And I'm looking at her, and I'm believing it. I'm thinking, maybe she doesn't want to do it. Because, the friars in the showbiz, come on, sing it. I don't want to. I felt like saying, look, if she doesn't want to sing, don't make her. 3 times is a number. Come on, no, please, no, 3. And all of a sudden, Mrs. L will tell you, out of nowhere, she pulls out of her bag like a green derby, a boa, and a fake martini, like a champagne glass. And she starts saying, when you walked in the bar, I could tell you were a man of distinction. She was on the table, and I thought, I fell for this. No, I don't want to sing. Come on, sing. No, I don't want to sing. Hit it. I have a rule, too. If you sing too close to me, I start laughing. If you're 10 feet away, you can sing anything you want. But if you get closer, and I don't know what that is, 3 feet, 2 feet, I start laughing. Because there's something funny about somebody looking at me and laughing. Or singing, to dream the impossible dream or whatever. I can't help it. So I'm looking at her, and she's right next to me. And I could tell she didn't want to hear this. But she one time, I got to tell you one quick story. In a local Irish pub, there was a place, it was the greatest place ever. There was this woman down the street. I don't know what her story was. I don't know, but she was weird. And was apparently a singer like in the 20s. I don't know, not the 1920s, the 20s. So one day, she was gassed out of her mind. And my mother used to always say, there's nothing worse than a drunk woman. I can think of worse things. No, a drunk woman is the saddest thing in the world. Nothing worse than a drunk woman. Okay, well, if my mother saw this one, she would have been in tears because this woman was out of her mind. So it happened to be my birthday. So she walks over and she starts doing that, like when you, like Thorazine shuffle, she says, and she got real close, like she's in my ear. And I'm moving away. And her breath, with the booze and people are, she's got her back and people are just laughing at me because I'm trying not to become disgusted or retch at the fumes of this woman. Anyway, plus I think there were dental issues too, which was not pretty. So she says, I understand it's your birthday. Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. What's your favorite song? I want to get, so I didn't realize this. So what's your favorite song? No, she asked me, and I didn't know it was a gift. I said, I like Wave by Joe Beam. Beautiful. And she gets even closer. Now, I'm against the wall, and there's no place for me to go. So she's right here. So help me God. In my ear, I hear this. I don't know what this is. A screech, a howl, a yip, a scream, pain, a machine, a frequency. I don't know what this is. Is it a song? This isn't Wave. Do 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 do. No. And I'm like this, and the entire bar is howling, pointing at me. So anyway, she got done. I said, that was very nice. She says, well, I'm a little off. And I said something stupid like, well, this is not exactly the best venue for singing or something like that. She turned to me. Men, pardon me, ladies, men, have you ever seen a woman go Dracula on you like that? Have you ever seen this? A drunk all of a sudden goes, and then she looked at me and I thought she was going to kill me. I need like an escort home or something. She says, what do you mean by that? I didn't mean anything by you. And they had to pull her off. I'm thinking, I'm living in an asylum. I'm living in a parallel universe that is an asylum, a mental hospital, filled with people, and I'm the only one who knows that they're crazy. That everybody around me doesn't know they're living in it as well, but I'm the only person. And that's the story of this thing. All right, dear friends, have a great, great, great day. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m. And until then, my friends, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.